If you're on a platform team, you absolutely know the drill. AWS has its way of doing things, Azure has another, and GCP, well, it speaks its own language. So today, we're going to cut right through all that chaos. We are laying out a universal blueprint to finally tame your multi-cloud monitoring.
Does this look familiar? You've got services sprinkled across AWS, Azure, and GCP, and each one has its own monitoring quirks and tools. It's not really a strategy, is it? It's more like a maze. You're just constantly switching contexts, trying to answer that one simple, vital question. Are we okay?
Look, it's time to stop reacting and start architecting. We need a single source of truth, something that gives you real clarity and control no matter where your services happen to live. It is time for a universal monitoring blueprint.
I want you to think of this blueprint as your mission control. One unified strategy, one place where you get that top-down, holistic view of your entire multi-cloud universe. And this isn't about throwing more tools at the problem, it's about using the ones you have way smarter.
And this mission control? Well, it rests on 4 essential pillars: infra health, key services, error hotspots, and of course, cost. If you can get these 4 things right, you will have the kind of visibility most teams can only dream about.
So, let's do it. Let's take a closer look at each of these 4 core dashboards. I'm going to break down exactly what each one tells you and why it's so incredibly critical for your team.
First up, infrastructure health. Think of this as your engine room. Before you worry about anything else, you have to know if the basics, the compute, the storage, the network, are stable. Is the machine itself actually healthy? This dashboard has to answer that question at a single glance.
And what's so powerful here is just how universal these metrics are. CPU, memory, disk, network. These are the vital signs of any server, and it doesn't matter if it's on AWS, Azure, or GCP. High CPU or memory tells you something's under stress, long before your users ever feel it.
Okay, engine room is checked. Now we can move up a level to key services. This is all about your customer-facing view. We're not talking about service anymore. We're talking about the services running on them. Are your critical apps and APIs performing the way your users expect them to?
Let's be honest, this is what your users actually care about. They don't care about your CPU usage, they care about speed and reliability. And that's why we track latency, and not just the average, but P95 and P99, because that tells you the experience of your slowest users. That plus throughput and the ultimate metric, uptime. All right, let's be real, things will break. It's inevitable. And when they do, you need this dashboard, Error Hotspots. This is your first response tool. It's designed for one thing and one thing only, to help your on-call engineers immediately pinpoint where things are failing so they can get to work.
This is all about the here and now. You see a spike in error rates? Boom, you know which component is on fire. A surge in 500x errors? That confirms a critical back-end failure. And watching for new exception types? That helps you catch brand new bugs before they take down the whole system. And finally, our 4th pillar, cost. I love this analogy. I call it your fuel gauge. It's great to have a high-performance system, but if it's burning through your budget at some crazy, unsustainable rate, well, that's a different kind of production issue, isn't it? This dashboard gives you that crucial financial visibility.
So here, we track spend by service to figure out our most expensive app components. We track cost by provider, so we can actually manage our multi-cloud strategy. And of course, we compare forecasted versus actual spend to keep the finance team happy, and, just as importantly, to make smarter architectural decisions down the line.
So, we know the 4 dashboards we need, but here's the million-dollar question. How do we build them so they work seamlessly across all these different clouds? How do we get that single pane of glass? Well, this is where the real architectural magic comes in.
Okay, this right here, this is the core obstacle. It's the cloud naming problem. AWS calls a virtual server an EC2 instance. Azure calls it a virtual machine. GCP a compute engine VM. It's the same concept, just with different names. A dashboard that's hard-coded for EC2 CPU usage is completely useless for your Azure VMs. And the solution is a beautifully simple but incredibly powerful idea, abstraction. You just stop thinking in provider-specific terms. You don't chart EC2 CPU. Instead, you chart a universal concept, like compute CPU usage, and then you use tags to label whether that compute is coming from AWS, Azure, or GCP. That one simple shift in thinking lets you build one chart to visualize everything.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground, moving from the messy problem to a really concrete, actionable solution. You now have the blueprint in your hands to build your very own mission control for multi-cloud monitoring.
So, what's the one thing to take away from all this? Just remember the number 4. Start right here. Don't try to boil the ocean. Build these 4 dashboards: infra health, key services, errors, and cost, using that principle of abstraction. Master these basics, and I promise you will have solved the most pressing monitoring challenges for any platform team.
And as you master these views, here's something to think about for the future. These dashboards are fantastic at showing you what is happening, but the next great frontier is understanding why. Is that where things like AI ops and automated root cause analysis are going to take us? It's definitely something to chew on.